This topic is so critical and so central to the mission of my office and to the United States Department of Justice that I am really, really honored that you asked me to take the opportunity to kick off the program by highlighting what the Justice Department is doing across the country, and in particular what we're doing here in New Jersey in federal court. Every other Tuesday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, about 24 people come to a courtroom on the second floor of the Martin Luther King Jr. Federal Courthouse in Newark. At first, it really looks like a lot of other proceedings in that courthouse. A federal magistrate judge, my friend Madeline Cox-Arleo, who is here at table 2, sits on the bench in what we call the well of the courtroom, at the 2 tables that are usually occupied by lawyers or their clients. There are a couple of lawyers from the Federal Public Defender's Office, 4 or 5 people from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and at least 1 or 2 or 3 people from the United States Probation Office. Behind them, sitting on benches usually occupied by spectators, are about 15 other people. But this proceeding is different. Everyone on those benches has very recently left federal prison. Some with a stop at a halfway house, others directly from jail. And one by one, each of them is called to the front of the courtroom and sits down at one of the tables to talk to the judge. "How is your daughter?" she asks one. "Tell me about your new apartment," she inquires of another. "Can we help you print your resume? Do you want a lawyer to help you get a payment plan so you can get your driver's license back? Do you have to leave early today to get to class?" And finally, the last question she asks, "What do you need from us?" That is an extraordinary thing. How did we get here? And is there an inconsistency? And the answer is no. Let me tell you how we got here. We have, as the mayor just said, a crisis in this country. Our federal and state prisons currently house 1.5 million people. Hundreds of thousands of more are in local jails. In all, we estimate that more than 1 in 100 adults are behind bars. More than 200,000, about 217,000, are in the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And it is my job, and the job of the people who work in my office, to put several hundred more there every year. In my judgment, those people have committed crimes for which that is the appropriate punishment. But for almost all of them, their incarceration does not and should not last forever. More than 95% of federal prisoners will be released, and when they are, the overwhelming majority will go home, or somewhere near where they once called home. And it is on that journey and at its destination that they may well fail if they don't have help. The final piece is targeting services to the population we're trying to reach. This has to start in jail. As the director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons has pointed out, most federal prison inmates leave needing job skills, vocational training, education, counseling, and other assistance such as drug abuse treatment, anger management, parenting skills, and a link to community resources for continuity of care if they are to continue to successfully enter society. In other words, today's Bureau of Prisons realizes that reentry begins the day that an inmate enters, and not he or she leaves.